Hey guys, what's up? Serena here from thriftiving.com, and today we're going to make a puzzle board. Over the pandemic, I have become addicted to puzzles and I usually have them spread out all over my dining room table for at least, all the time. The kids just can't eat there. So let's jump into this tutorial right now. This is great for you if you've got a puzzle that you want to do, but you don't want to take up the whole table and you want to do the puzzle in different places around your house. So let's do this project right now. So for this project, we're going to use some of this tempered MDF. You see on the back, it's got a textured back. We're going to use a little bit of this for the bottom, and we're also going to use this for the top. We've cut two pieces. Now it really just depends on the size of the puzzle that you want to do. So for my mom, I'm going to make her this puzzle board with, I think the finished dimensions are going to be 24 by 30. So we're going to cut it a little bit bigger, 28 by 34, so that we've got a little bit more room there for the puzzle to spread out, plus put some trim. Now if you go to the hobby board section of your home improvement store, you will find these boards. They've got them in various lengths and various widths. So cut it down to the size that you need. And then we're actually going to be cutting strips from this so that we can use this for the inside so that we can create drawers. I also want to say that you can use a jigsaw for this project. I'm actually going to be using a track saw. I invested in some new tools, guys. I'm super excited about these. They work really well, but most people aren't going to have a track saw. And a lot of people are going to get started with projects using a jigsaw. So if you don't know how to use a jigsaw, link down below or up in the corner, you will find a 30-minute free tutorial on how to use a jigsaw. So we want this board to be 34 inches long because we're going to make some trim to go along the top, and we also need to create some center pieces. We're going to use a speed square here to get a nice right angle. I'm going to flip this over, continue this line. And now we can cut this. Now we can cut this with a jigsaw or we can use the track saw. All I'm doing is lining up this line with my track saw. So when I'm done, I can lift this up, pull out the extra, and then pull off my piece. So I'm going to make 1-inch marks on this wood. I actually need 3 of these, and we're going to glue these to the inside of the board so that we can create drawers. So now I've got a 1-inch by 34-inch piece. So after cutting these 3 pieces, I realized that the last board had a bow to it. Look at this board. Do you see how this board shakes? And when I got this board from the store, I didn't pay attention to that. All of my pieces have the same rocking back and forth here. So we're going to go ahead and put those aside. I don't think we're going to be able to use that. All right, so we've got 4 pieces here. They all look pretty good. They're all of similar size. So now we can go on to the next part, which is starting to lay this out. I've got 2 of these MDF boards. One is going to be the bottom, and then I've got another one that's going to be the top. So you do need 2 of these, and it's 34 inches by 28 inches. So we cut our pieces here, and what we want to do is glue them, and we're not going to glue them with the flat side down. We're going to glue them on edge. So one there, one here, and then normally if you're making a smaller puzzle board, you only need 1 in the middle. If we do 4, we'll kind of divide these out evenly, because then the other piece is going to sit on top. We'll have a drawer on both sides so that we can sort our puzzle pieces and store it inside the table, the puzzle board, when we're not using it. Do a really thin line, and then just use your finger and kind of spread it out. All right, so I'm going to glue this into place. We will nail these in place, but for now, let's just go ahead and clamp them, and we'll come back later. So this side looks like it's dried. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around so that I can glue the other side. Don't clamp it too hard, because then you'll get a lot of seepage. You want some of that glue to stay between those layers. You don't want everything to come out, but you'll have a little bit of seepage. Just wipe it up. So I've gone ahead and decided that I'm gonna have these drawers be 9 inches wide. So I'm setting this at 9 1/4 because I want 1/8 of an inch on each side, which makes a quarter. So with that 1/8 and 1/8, that leaves me at 9-inch drawers. So I'll do the drawers 9 inch by, I don't want the drawers to come in too far, so I'll probably do them 9 and 9 by 13. So I'm gonna place this down and try not to get the glue everywhere. But again, this is the inside, so if you get glue on the inside, it's not gonna make too much of a difference because no one's gonna see it. But you don't want it to get in the way of your drawers sliding open and close. And lining it up. So while we're letting the glue dry on the puzzle board, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next part so we can get this done. I have to go see my mom tomorrow and she needs this puzzle board. So we have a little bit of the wood left. This one doesn't have the bow. And we have to make pieces. We have to cut pieces in order to do the trim. Now, the thing is, you don't actually have to use a board to cut trim. There's a lot of trim pieces that if you go to like the trim and molding parts of the home improvement store, you will find trim that you can just, you know, buy and not have to cut. I don't have any trim, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this board to cut. I've got my 34-inch piece trim that's gonna go at the top, and then I can use 2 of these trims that are 28 inches to the side. These pieces are going to be used for the drawers. So I've actually got some leftover material here from the 4-foot piece of pine, and thankfully it is like just over 14 inches, which is fantastic, which means I'm going to be able to use, I think I'm going to make my drawers 14 by 9. And what I'll be able to do is create the strips that I need to make the box. So let's go ahead and trim this down. This is actually a little bit more than 14. So I'm just going to use the track saw to trim off this last little edge here. So that's just going to take off a little sliver. We don't need that piece. And we should be good at 14 inches. Yep, exactly 14. So I know that I want my side here to be like 3/8 of an inch. With this cutting table is that I'm able to put a stop here, right? So this is the piece that I want to cut. It's going to allow me to cut right here on that line. When I'm done cutting, all I have to do is move the board in and I can keep making repeatable cuts. Okay, so I have 12 pieces for 2 per piece for 6 drawers. I still need 12 pieces of 9-inch trim so that we can do the drawers. So let's say that you don't have a track saw, you didn't make these yourself, you went to Home Depot and you bought some trim, which you can do. I'm going to show you how you can make these cuts with a jigsaw. And I went ahead and marked, this is 9 inches because remember our box is going to be 14 by 9 and I already marked it at 9 inches. But you always want to make sure that you're using your speed square whenever you're marking because you're just going to get a nice even line. Measure it. I have it at exactly 9 inches. So I've already marked this at 9 inches and it's going to fall right there on my line, my cut line. And there we go. It's 9 inches. Yep, exactly 9 inches. So we've got 12 pieces for the short sides and 12 pieces for the long sides. So this entire piece is 28 inches. Put a mark here at the 14. And then whatever's left over we'll use for the small drawers. So now that we have this 28 by 28 cut in half, we can go ahead and start cutting 9 inch. I think we should be able to get 3 drawers from this. Yeah, so if you have a jigsaw, you can make this puzzle board and do your drawers with just using that, the jigsaw and the speed square. All right, so this is 9 by 14. I've got 4 9 by 14 boards. These are for the drawers. And then I've got 2 smaller drawers, which are, I think just under 6.5 inches wide and 14 inches. So the next thing that we have to do is start marking up the pieces that are going to make up the drawers. Remember these pieces that we cut? We've got 12 of the large ones, which are 14 inches, and then we've got 12 of the smaller pieces, which are 9. What I want to do is make sure that when I'm cutting these, because I have to do miter corners, because it's going to come together, the sides will come together like this. Now you don't have to do miter corners, that just, that makes it a little bit more work. But if you want to do it just sort of like a butt joint, you can do that and just nail them together if you want. And now we can go ahead and start assembling that. We're going to glue it, and we're also going to use a nailer to secure them. We're going to assemble the frame of the drawer with 2 of the 14-inch pieces on the side and 2 of the 9-inch pieces on the top and bottom. And then this is going to be sitting, well, not dropped on it. This is going to be sitting on top. If all you have are just some small nails with a hammer, you can also use that, or you can use a nail gun with some 1/2-inch brad nails. So let's start with just one side. I'm going to leave these other pieces here, but I'm going to start with this left side. I'm going to put just a little bit of wood glue. I'm going to spread that dot around. Don't worry about these other pieces. They're just there to support this, but I want to make sure that this is lined up along the edge and that it's lined up here and lined up here. And then we're going to take our nail gun, and I'm going to make sure that I'm close to the edge, but not too close to where it doesn't catch the wood underneath. So what I generally like to do is just put 3, turn it over, make sure those look good, and it does. Looks real good. And once that looks good, that's just to secure it. And then we can move on to the other pieces. And it looks like it's a pretty good fit. So this is going to be able to slide in and out. So we put all the drawers together. They fit pretty good. And I have cut these little pieces of MDF to put in the middle so that the drawers don't come all the way in. We want them to stop. So we've created these little makeshift stops. I've got these knobs here that I pulled off of an old thrifted piece of furniture. They're actually perfect for these little drawers. And I've got 6 of them, thankfully. So I've already applied one, and I'm going to go ahead and apply the other ones. I'm going to drill a little hole. And then I'm going to put this screw in there. And I'm just going to use a screwdriver to get this. And now I've got a little pull on the end of my puzzle board drawer. The drawers fit in here. I actually added a couple of dividers on a couple of the drawers. So I've got some big drawers, and then I've got some smaller drawers. I'm not adding a ton of glue, so I don't think it's going to be a problem with squishing out. So let's go ahead and set this in place. Try to even up the edges. We're going to flip this around so that we can put a row of brad nails here on the top. Looks like I cut my board a little too short, but you know what? That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we're just going to let's do it this way. Now remember, these are going to be covered by the trim, so you're not going to see these. So with 45-degree angles cut, it looks like it fits pretty good. Use my nailer with 1 inch. Actually, gosh, I'm running out of space here. So this project was so much fun. You can do it for about $20 or less, couple hours of your time with not very many tools. So I think this is a project that you could do for yourself or do for other people. I don't know about you, but I love puzzles, and I just finished a 2,000-piece puzzle, which was pretty difficult. I love a good challenge though. So let me know, do you love puzzles as much as I do? And is this something that you think that you would want to make for yourself or someone else? Leave a comment below, and I will see you next project.